Standing in line to see the show tonight, and there's a light on. Heavy.
What's going on, everybody? Nick Ruffini here from Drummers Resource, and for those of you who don't know who I am, I've been a drummer since I was 15. Professional drummer for the last 10 years or so, toured around the country playing music. Recently, about 3 years ago, started a podcast called Drummers Resource, started a podcast and a website, and since then, I've done over 250 interviews with the world's greatest drummers. Guys like Greg Bissonette, guys like Steve Gadd, Peter Erskine, Brian Fraser Moore, Lil Jon Roberts, Eric Hernandez, who just played on the Grammys last night with his brother Bruno Mars, and Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers. And we're actually on our way down to the Wells Fargo Center now in Philly. We're going to hang out with Chad. We're going to check out the show. We're going to get a little check-in from the tour, find out how the tour is going, and we're just going to kick it and have some fun. So I'm going to take you guys along for the ride.
I tried to say I'd be there, waiting for Danny the girl is singing songs to me beneath the marquee overlook. Stick knife, car chop, con job.
You know, it's funny, like, there's so many people who email me or, text me, write me, comment on things and asking, like, how I did this or how do I get to connect with all these people, how do I connect with all these drummers and all that. And it's like, it's just work. Like, it's just emailing people day in and day out. It's 500, 1,000, 2,000, literally 3,000 emails. And, 1 or 2% of those people get back to you and you follow up with them and you make connections and you build it and you build it and you build it. It's like brick by brick, I didn't just wake up one day and call Chad Smith and be like, hey, we're going to come down to the Wells Fargo Center to hang out. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm doing now. And not that I'm any different than everybody else. I'm just working day in and day out of 10, 12, 14 hours of hustling, you know what I mean? So if you want to do something, then go do it. If you want to, the theory is easy. It's easy to talk about all the stuff that you have to do, and you can put all the pieces together, but the hard part is actually doing that day in and day out. So just go do it. Rippy here, who's filming me, he started his own business filming, How did he do it? Just started.
Already. There's a little bit more to it. I got my one fill and my one beat. Basically what I do, I just do it faster and slower. And
open up the hi-hat, close the hi-hat.
Yeah, once in a while, and no, but it takes a lot of work but if you're passionate about what you love, whatever it is that you do, you're going to want to do it, and so then it's a matter of, like I say, putting in the hard work, but also, finding the right people and all these things that happen, and it's not easy to find like-minded people,
right,
and that want to do and are passionate about the same things that you are. And then you have to be able to write good songs, and if everybody could write good songs, there'd be a 40 million band instead of 4.
Right.
So
how much do you attribute it to hard work and how much do you attribute it to luck? There has to be some luck.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or Yogi Berra said 90% is just showing up.
And that too. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to, just show up every day, but show up not like
you mean it.
Yeah.
And you had even mentioned when we did the podcast, even if you weren't playing in stadiums now, you would still be out there busting your ass playing.
Of course.
Period.
This is what I love to do. This is right. I found my passion at an early age. I was, worked hard, but I was also lucky. I'll tell you about luck, and opportunity, and hard work all meeting together. I graduated from high school in 1980 in Detroit. Played in clubs for 8 years, all around the Detroit area and Windsor and Tri-County area. Most of it was 6 nights a week, 3 sets a night. And I was in this one band, and we played 2 sets. But that's a lot of playing.
It's a lot of fun.
That's a lot of playing. And I loved it. I was like, this is great. I made it. I'm a professional musician. I'm making $165 a week.
Done.
Boom! And, you know, when I was 20, 19, 18, 20, 22, whatever, and sure, would I have wanted to be like in Led Zeppelin or something? Yeah, but I loved it. But at a certain point, 1988, I felt like I had exhausted the Detroit music scene possibility. I knew all the band, most of the players, and I moved to California, and where it was nice and warm. I had enough of the Detroit winter.
Yeah.
And my brother and some other people lived out in California, and I drove out there with my drum set in the back of the car, and not having any real plan other than a friend of mine's like, oh, you can sleep on my couch. I'm like, great. And that's what I did. And December, I auditioned for the Chili Peppers. It was a friend of a friend, you know, this girl used to date the guitar player, and she knew, you know, him, and they were looking for a drummer kind of thing. And I joined, you know, I joined the band. So like, but that's like, you know, August, what is that, 5 months,
right.
6 months?
Right.
Being in California, and I joined. So the Chili Peppers weren't this big rock band at the time. They were, I was like, oh yeah, the guys with the socks. Have you ever heard of them? I'll try out for them. Great, they have a record deal. Yeah, I'll play with them. But when you look at it, it's like boom. You know, I moved to California, and all of a sudden I'm in this band, and we're playing and making records, and things, you know, went on from there. But all that stuff before, I would have never been ready for the Chili Peppers audition if I hadn't been slaving away in those clubs in Detroit,
right.
and playing and doing all that stuff, and having a real ambition and drive to go somewhere else and take a chance, a risk. I think that's just important. And when opportunity came, I was ready.
Yeah.
And you know, so if I can do it, guy who's a dude from Detroit, I can do that. Anybody can do it. You know, you just gotta believe in yourself, and like I said, put the work in, and good things will happen. Just keep going. If you really love it, you're gonna want to do it.
So when you're playing like all these different places, does it feel? Do they all start to run together? Do they feel the same, or is it like knowing when you go to Philly, like it's going to sound a certain way, or it's going to feel a different way, or the vibe is different?
You know, the vibes can be different in different cities.
Yeah.
People and culture. Like, I mean, obvious easy example would be like a New Orleans is incredible. Such a music town.
Right.
So.
Do you feel like you have to like bring it more there?
I want to bring it everywhere, but they seem. I don't want to say more sophisticated, but like they really, it's so ingrained in their culture. Like for me, Detroit, when I play in Detroit, I'm from Detroit.
You're from
like
Detroit.
that's
Yeah,
your hometown is here. Mine is Detroit, so I don't know if I'm more partial to it because I'm from there, but I know Detroit is such a hardworking, blue collar. You know, I think in general that's the reputation that they really work hard.
I think it's more of like a release,
party hard,
or more of a release for them when they go to a concert.
Oh man, and I played clubs there for 8 years right out of high school, and I know, you know, firsthand that you know how much they enjoy music and how important. Maybe it's a bit of a release for them to, you know, but it's very real and. You know, if you go to New York or LA, it's like they can see 20 bands in 1 week, you know, whereas in other places it's a really
they're like waiting for their band to
when
come.
When you come to Lincoln, Nebraska, you know, that's a big
totally
deal to
vibe.
them. So places are different, you know. But yeah, we play basketball and hockey arenas. That's the venue that we play, and most of the time, certainly in the winter months. Indoors, but so a lot of these are very similar in the aesthetic of the place, but the towns and the people
feel different.
Of course.
Thank you very much, Philadelphia. All of our gratitude for coming down to see us play. for supporting live music. Support live music, it's the thing we got. All I want or all. Put love into the world, lift people up, smile at people that you see in the street. It's all we got. We gotta put love in our communities. We gotta put love everywhere.
So, just wrapped up with Chad Smith, Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is the after show. So all the stuff that you saw before, that's all what goes into the show, and this is the after part of it. It takes a lot of people to move all this stuff. You know, there's thousands of people that are behind the scenes doing all this stuff, and right now they're moving all this to MSG. They're gonna play a couple nights at Madison Square Garden, so it's gonna be cool. Thanks for checking everything out.
See the show tonight and now the light on, heavy glow. By the way, I tried to say I'd be there, waiting for.
Can we hear this drum set? Sound good?
Can you get out of there?
You're the man. Thanks, brother.